All right, we'll call this back to order and we'll get on with item number 22. And have Commission Regulation 11-03, Big Game Seasons 2011-2012. Big Game biologists Mike Cox and Tony Wasley. It's an action item. We'll be considering all the big game seasons for this year. You guys, give us a rundown on what we have.
Mike Cox, Nevada Department of Wildlife, and Tony Wasley. Looks like the screen, as we've seen, is poor resolution, and so I'll have it up, but I guess I'd ask you to refer to your handout, and we'll try to communicate with the changes, but the screen may not be as valuable as it has in the past. So we'll start off, just also a reminder, as we have in the past, we summarized the County Advisory Board alternative recommendations, and hopefully there's enough of those copies floating around, and all of you have a copy. And with that, I guess we'll start at the top with pronghorn antelope. So start off with the resident and non-resident, horns longer than ears, antelope, any legal weapon hunt, 2151 and 2251. Just a couple changes from the previous years. The Western and Pershing County units, 4142, herd continues to do well. We've been increasing tags over the years, so we'd like to have a split season, try to spread the pressure out. And then in Eastern Pershing County, the small pronghorn herd that is continually growing slowly is large enough in 4.3 through 4.6 to have a limited quota. So we'll be want to open that up this year. And the non-residents, just to let you know, we've always cognizant of the 90-10 split that we're to give the resident, non-residents for a particular weapon class hunt. So we went through last year's quotas and what we may see for quotas in May, and then we made a decision whether or not to add a non-resident hunt if it wasn't already there. So last year we had 5 tags, 6 tags. We're not expecting that to go much higher, but if we feel we may get into the 9, 10 to 12 tags, then we'll offer a season for one non-resident. That's all I have to say for those 2 hunts.
Mr. Chairman, how do you want to handle this? Do you want to?
We need to go through all of them, have public comment on all of them. I mean, we need them to go through, because otherwise, we can do public comment. We got to keep public comment on the whole works.
Okay.
So, we'd like them to go through all of them, then we'll public comment on all of them, then we'll bring it back to commission and proceed. So, go ahead. We've got those 2. Now we're on to muzzleloader, 2171.
All pronghorn or all big game?
Well, I mean, we just need to go through all the big game, because then we got to get public comment. So, and we'll just have to do that all at once. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe, I don't know. That might be a little cumbersome, because I'm almost thinking maybe we ought to pick out by species. In other words, let's do all of the antelope and then get the comment on all the antelope, and then vote. on all the antelope, and do that for each of our species.
You know, the main thing here is we got to get the public comment in, and, you know, if we sit here and have public comment on each individual item, it's going to be, I'm just worried about the cumbersomeness of that. I think I can make notes as we come along, and I think I've got pretty good notes from the cabs. So, you know, that's where I'm at on it. Go ahead, Mr. Trum. Go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, we're going to take individual units, correct?
When we come back for vote, well, we go through hunt number. We should probably do it by hunt number when we come back for vote. And you could, you know, and of course a vote, you could group hunt numbers, approve this hunt number and that hunt number.
Right, I just see some units I'd like to, some of the hunts I would like to go ahead and possibly add a couple of units. to
Okay,
it. I just don't
so
wanna-
but first we would probably need to hear from public comment before we, I mean, that's getting into the debate of the issue, so we should really hear public comment first on, yeah, go ahead, Mr.
Right,
Pearl.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, it does seem to me like perhaps we ought to at least consider doing it by species.
Want to do it by species? Well, actually, I guess that we got,
Come back and look at the individual units to see if we like that. Should be done.
all right, then we could maybe do that and group, what do you say, antelope, we got elk, and we could do all the sheep and goat together, because that's pretty brief, and then do deer. Just do it like that, do those groups? All right, we can handle that. Favor of the commission? Fair enough? All right. Let's go on with the rest of the antelope then.
Muzzleloader, one longer in the years, 2171. Added some unit groups in Washington, Humboldt County, and one in Churchill. The archery, horns longer than ears. We added a couple non-resident units, because we had some increase in tag quotas, and the 9-10 resident, non-resident split came into play.
Would you?
Sorry. So that was the muzzleloader season. We added some, for the horns longer than ears, 2171, added a few units in Washoe, Humboldt County, and one in Churchill. We don't have any non-residents hunts for that yet, since many of those were 5, 6 tags. We're still seeing a growth in that interest in the resident muzzleloader, and until we see more interest per unit, we won't have a non-resident hunt. Archery for resident, non-resident, horns longer than ears, 2161, 2261. The only difference is we added a couple non-resident units where we had approaching or exceeding 10 tags in the resident. The pronghorn, horns shorter than ears, that targets does and yearling bucks. I think that's the same as it was last year. And that's pronghorn antelope.
All right. First, we'll go to public comment on this, and then we'll see if we have any commissioner questions. On public comment on this, I'd just like to go through the few here, which is Humboldt County. Do not agree with the new proposed muzzleloader hunts. Nye County would like to include unit groups 161, 162, 171, 173, and unit 251 to be added to this hunt. And that's on 271. Was that? And if Nye, if you could run that by me, make sure I got that right, and then what do you mean by that?
Absolutely, Mr. Chairman. Kevin Strozzi from Nye County. The Nye County Game Board, we'd like to add units 161 and 162 171 through 173 and units 251 to the muzzleloader, the resident antelope horns longer than air muzzleloader hunt 2171, just to provide extra opportunity for hunters that maybe can't hunt during the regular August any legal weapon season. Split out some of those tags to a little bit later muzzleloader season just to increase hunter opportunity. That's why we added those in there.
The proposal is to make 3 separate hunts, or?
Right, it would be three separate units, 1/6.
I just wanted to make sure clear. Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else? Public comment on this thing? Cab comment? Go ahead, please.
For the record, Steve Hemp, Humboldt County. We voted against that because we thought that it was during the prime of the rut for the antelope and didn't think that that was a good idea. So that's why we voted against it.
Excellent. Other public comment? No further public comment on antelope. All right. I close public hearing at this time on antelope. And move it back to the commission. We had questions for the staff or anything? Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I agree. Antelope in the rut, late September is when they rut, and I'm just opposed to putting these new muzzleloader hunts, 11, 12, 15, 21, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, putting 7 new muzzleloaders in the rut. I'm just opposed to that. They really expanded, and originally the muzzleloader was just going to take a couple of hunts to give them an opportunity, but and some of the boards want more, and you know, I don't see a lot of difference between, because muzzleloaders can hunt during and hunt 2151 and all those seasons, and you know, to have a special hunt in the rut, I think is really going to affect the animals. And we put a few in over the years to just start them, but essentially adding all those muzzleloader hunts, we might as well just throw them into the any weapon hunt and have it all at one and have them all together, because hunting them that late I don't think is a good idea. Thank you. And I'd be opposed to those new muzzleloader hunts.
All right, thank you. Commissioner, comment, questions? Okay. We had staff response to that. You had the comment?
Yeah, you
had
probably
issue
remember
with
that the muzzleloader season was suggested by the sportsman. We didn't propose it. There's been obviously an interest, and people have been buying the tags and utilizing that opportunity. And it's really been something, if other counties want it, we've been more than happy to try to accommodate it. The peak of the rut is about September 10th, so it is post-rut. All the other western states except Oregon and Nevada harvest their bucks in September and October. So it really is post-rut. And I know Washoe County, although they're not here, they did support it. They feel there's some hunter congestion with the rifle hunt, and this provides an opportunity to spread some of that hunting pressure out to a different time of the year.
All right, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman.
We had a comment down here, and then we'll go back to Vice Chairman Lent. Go ahead, Mr. Macbeth.
The seasons and the quotas are always my toughest issue as a sportsman's representative on this commission, because you know, we get multiple constituents with different ideas, and I've always got to make a decision. And I just want to go on the record that I'm less apt to be concerned about the rut with antelope, and more apt to give hunter opportunity. And so I think I'm going to support it as you know, as it's proposed by the department.
Okay, Mr. Capurro. Commissioner Capurro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question. How, what are you doing with the bag limits or quotas with the addition of these new hunts?
On these muzzleloader hunts,
Yes.
probably just a few tags. You know, last year, if I just look at what we had in '09, anywhere from 2 to 7 tags. So we have a demand value, which is probably 90% rifle, 4% muzzleloader, and 5% archery or 10% archery, depending on the unit group. So we'll probably slice off maybe 5% of the demand, very conservative to start with. So I would see no more than 3-4 tags in some of these units to start with.
Additional tags to what are now being issued?
No, we have, and we don't have time today to go over the whole demand success process, but when we determine the harvestable surplus of a herd, regardless of the species, we take that and we divide that up by the demand of the weapon classes. So, again, pronghorn is 85% to 90% demand by rifle. If there wasn't a muzzleloader hunt, the rest of the demand would go to the archers. If there is a muzzleloader hunt, then we'll probably take that demand off of both, a commensurate proportion off the rifle and archery. The bottom line is, it's 100%. That doesn't change. There's no add-on tags. It's not a landowner tag. So we account for 100% of the demand amongst the weapon classes that exist.
Gotcha.
They don't
Okay,
exist.
I understand the process that you use, but what I also understand is you're adding 7 new hunts here.
8, actually, I think, is a 181 to 184 is another one.
8 new hunts under muzzleloader, and I don't see a commensurate increase in other areas there, which tells me you're going to take away rifle tags to put into this muzzleloader hunt. Is that right?
That's what I just explained is, and let's just take a simple example. 011, before there was ever a hint of a muzzleloader hunt, was probably 90% rifle, 10% archery demand. If we were to add a muzzleloader hunt, we may carve away 5% of that demand, so we'd have a commensurate, with the rifle being the largest demand, that might go to 88%, and then the archery may go to 4, 1 less, excuse me, maybe 9 instead of 10 to make 3, 4, 5% demand for. So yeah, so you'd be, and that was part reason some of the counties wanted it, because it would take some of the pressure of high rifle quotas, spread them out into another weapon class hunt. But that, yeah, the tags are going to come from, they would either be an archery or a rifle hunt without a muzzleloader hunt.
All right, one piece of thing I also had here on this list was, I think it was Churchill County would like to see all seasons start on a Saturday. Just throw that out. Anyways, you had a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to make a motion. I just opposed to hunting them that late, and so my motion will be, I move that we go along with hunt 2151 as department recommended, hunt 2251 as department recommended, hunt 2171, eliminate the 0111, 012 to 0114, 015, 021, 022, 031, 032, 034, 035, 041, 042, and the 181 to 184 hunts as suggested by the department, to go along with hunt 2161, to go along with hunt 2261, to go along with hunt 2181, as recommended by the department.
Okay, it's been motion and second on the floor. Everybody understand the motion? Commissioner McBath.
I'd like to offer an amendment to the motion. What I'd like to offer as an alternative is to approve the department's recommendation as is, with the addition of the Nye County proposal to add unit groups 161, 160 through 162, 171 through 173, and Unit 251.
All right, there's a motion on, we have a motion on the table, and then we have an amendment on that motion to approve all the antelope seasons as proposed with the addition as stated by Mr. Macbeth. Everybody understand the amendment? We'll vote on the amendment to the motion. Okay, all in favor of that amendment to the main motion signify by raising your hand. The amendment. We're talking about the amendment only. Okay, so we have 3 in favor, which are Mr. Macbeth, Mr. Wallace, Mr. Shrum. All opposed? 5 opposed, the other 5 opposed. Good? All right, we're back to the main motion, which was to approve, well, does everybody understand the motion? It was to approve all the seasons with, except, as proposed by the department, except these changes to 2171, antelope season. Everybody understand the motion? Everyone in favor of the motion signify by raising your hand. All opposed? Okay, the exact opposite of the last vote. So motion passes 5-3. We got that? Commissioner Shrum, Wallace, Macbeth, 3 opposed. All right. Relatively painless. Elk. Will elk be painless?
Elk, so you want me to go through all the seasons again?
Yeah, especially, changes, especially run by them.
First one is the depredation antlered or bull hunt that we've had in the past, which was 4102. We had recommended this couple changes to eliminate the Atlanta Farms hunt. We were not meeting our objectives of that hunt, which was to kill all bulls regardless of size and age. And we had just a lot of selective trophy hunting. It just wasn't, we feel, beneficial or effective to trying to keep those bulls from depredating on those fields. And also in the Rubies and the East Humboldts, we had suggested allowing the bull hunters to have an option if they don't see a bull throughout the season to maybe kill a cow near the end. But the one thing we hadn't taken into account was the eligibility restrictions. And for depredation hunts, the eligibility restrictions, primarily bonus points, are specific to a hunt number. So, so we would recommend that the 4106 hunt, as you have in front of you, would switch back to the 4102 hunt, which is just an antlered bull hunt, as we've had in the Rubies and East Humboldts in the past, so that those people who have acquired bonus points in the past can continue to use those bonus points for this hunt. So that would be the changes. Questions on that before I move on?
Okay, just to clarify on that, I'm just struggling with that. So that would be, would that allow applicants for all of 4106?
4106, strike it from your mind, strike it from the page, and we're going back to the 4102 hunt, which is just a bull depredation hunt. And it'll be the exact same as it has been. There's no waiting period, and the bonus points that people have accumulated in applying for that hunt in the past will continue to be available if they apply for that this year.
A question? Mr. Wallace?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you're going to go back to the 4102, but are you taking away the Atlanta Farms hunt?
Correct.
So how are you going to account for that now?
You'll see we have a little bit more involved antlerless or cow elk depredation hunt. And then we'll continue to work with the landowner, and if necessary, we'll have an emergency depredation hunt, and we'll go through the emergency depredation hunt process. It's always been that tool in our toolbox.
All right, please continue.
All right, the standard antlered bull, resident elk, any legal weapon hunt, 4151. Got several changes. I did provide the a little rationale, two-page rationale sheet that went over some of these changes on the front end of the table that focus on northern Elko and western Elko County. And we have access issues in some winters, and we have a need to harvest more elk, be more successful in the field. We have lots of history, especially with cow seasons, when increasing tags don't always get you increased cow harvest. So we're looking at split seasons for both the cow and the bull seasons. For cows, we want to see that success rate climb. And for bulls, certainly plenty of concerns over the last couple of years of congestion in some of the unit groups. The other issue is the access later in the year, not only getting hunters into areas, but a couple of the unit groups have historic movement into Idaho. And we fear that the later we go in that calendar year, the potential for our hunters not to have access to those bulls. And right now, our eastern region has been working with Idaho. They don't have a large hunt, quota hunt yet on their side of the line. So we feel like we want to try to put some more pressure on those elk while they're in Nevada. So with that, we felt, well, if we're going to have a split rifle season, adopting something like Area 11 just would be too late for that country and our situation. So what we felt would be a compromise would be to move the bull muzzleloader season, have that in conjunction at the same time as the cow muzzleloader season. Tags would be minimal, and even with the demand increasing, we would probably try to hold that quota down so it's not anything huge, because it would be during the rut. It would be a late September, early October, same time as the cow muzzleloader, and then that would allow us to have the two rifle bull seasons that would finish up a few days before Thanksgiving, and most years would be pretty good in terms of access into that country. We've added a couple units in various unit groups because expanding elk herds, some information that we've gained from collared elk. So like Unit 108, we're going to split that north-south. North end of that still be available for the Cherry Creek, the 121 hunt. The south end of that, we have elk that are part of that White Pine Range herd, the 131 herd, so that'll be added. We're going to add Area 17 onto the Area 16 bull hunt. May or may not be able to stand alone right now, but we want to start slow, give the hunters the opportunity to hunt Area 17. We'll see where their harvest occurs and observations from the hunters, and if we get some positive feedback, we may, in 2 years, see that as a separate Area 17 bull hunt. But right now, we thought we'd add it to 16. And then there's a unit 223 south, the south unit of Area 22 that has had some pretty consistent elk observations. So we're going to add that to the adjoining Area 23 hunt and along with the Area 24 units. And in addition to adding those units, we've adopted that early late split season that we've had in Area 11 for Central Nevada and for Area 23 and 24. Non-residents, we've expanded a couple of the unit groups that we haven't had a non-resident tag before, just because now we are in the 9, 10 plus resident quota for our 4151 hunt. Same unit groupings, same dates. Muzzleloader, bull antlered 4156. Just talked about shifting those northern and western Elko County unit groups to be the same dates as our cow muzzleloader season, again to accommodate the split rifle season in October and November. And just adding the units that we have for the rifle seasons for the muzzleloader seasons. And then the non-resident muzzleloader, we did add 06171. The archery bull, 4161. No season date changes, just again adding those same units to those unit groups that spoke about earlier. And with rising quotas, we've added actually several non-resident bull archery seasons. Cow antlerless seasons, starting with the rifle 4181. Most of those changes through areas 6 and 7 are those split seasons. So instead of having a single October cow rifle season, we're going to split those up into an early October and a mid to later October. Again, we know that if you just keep pouring tags into a cow season, there is a diminishing return in terms of success rate. So we feel comfortable that splitting the seasons will really help us on success rate, managing those herds. We're adding new cow hunts to a couple of the elk herds. One is the Spruce Mountain Core herd, and the and the Cherry Creeks. And then we're also expanding the cow seasons in Area 11 and 22 and adding late seasons to all the same units groups that have an early October season. So for example, 111 through 112, standard October 1 through the 19th cow season, but we're also going to try to get some cow hunters out there later. And talked a little bit about so that 222 through 231, that is the Atlanta Farms antlerless cow rifle season. So instead of having 2 long seasons, we're going to have 4 shorter seasons and try to get some more focused effort out there and put in new fleet of hunters every 2 weeks on that Atlanta Farms. But pretty much the same length of time that we had those cow seasons in the past. And the cow season for both Area 16 and Area 23-24 is pretty much 2 weeks later start. It was November 20th, but with the split bull rifle seasons, we wanted to try to reduce the overlap of that second bull season with the cow hunters. So we'll have to see how their success rates play out. So the bull season ends on the 20th, or excuse me, it ends on the December 3rd for Area 16, 11, and 22, and then their late season cows will start 2 days later on the 5th of December, and then run through the end of the year. Muzzleloader, cow, just same season dates, but again, we have a companion weapon class hunt for Spruce Mountain and its unit groups, Cherry Creek and its unit groups. There was a suggestion, we'll let the game boards bring those up. Archery, same season dates for cow archery, but we're adding, again, the Spruce Mountain herd and the Cherry Creek herd. And that's it. Very long and can be complicating.
All right, first I'd like to get public comment on the elk hunts. Had quite a bit here from the cabs. Let me just run through some of the public comment we got from the cabs. Resident, non-resident elk, antler, anti-leak weapon, 151, or 4151, 4251. Churchill unit groups. We've got all this information here. We've got Churchill. If you could kind of explain, is Churchill, don't have that? So let me run through their stuff since they're not here. Unit groups 161 to 164, 081, 13, I'm trying to think, have all those season dates of 17 to the 30th of September. So that's where they're at.
Yeah, they're requesting that bull rut hunt back.
Gotcha. Okay. Nye County is here. They can talk about that. Washoe is not here. Like to keep the early rifle hunts in 13 and 16 in addition of the other stated hunts. Okay. Clark County, you're here. You can go over it. Lincoln's here. They can go over theirs. I just want to make sure everybody that's not here gets Lincoln. Churchill, no, that's Desert. Okay. So everybody else is here. They can represent your points. Gotcha.
Paul Harris, Clark County Cab. My concern is on the, as we talked about earlier with Unit 23 and the quality of the bulls there. To get an archery tag in that unit, you got to have a ton of points. I've got 14, and I didn't draw last year. But now we're going to have basically 2 full months from the beginning of September, or from the beginning of August all the way through the end of September in 15-day increments. We're going to have rifle hunters out there pounding the hell out of the cows and chasing them around, and you're actually going to have an overlap of the archery season. So prior to the archers getting into the field, which is tough enough to kill a bull with a bow, they're going to have, those cows are going to be chased around and shot at for 25 days, and then we're actually going to have an overlap with the archery season, it appears. For the first 5 days of the archery season, you're going to be overlapped with rifle hunters. And then,
Just the Atlanta Farms area.
oh, that's just in Atlanta Farms? Oh, this is just the Atlanta Farms right here for the
222 through 231. That's restricted, which is what we've had in the past.
okay.
The last 4 or 5 years is just
So the hunt number 4181.
222 through 231
Uh-huh.
is just, if you look, it's footnoted.
Oh, okay, see, the G, that's just Atlanta
G.
Farms area, okay. Then, oh, I'm sorry, no problem.
Who else we got? Gil, and then we've got Nye over here. Mike.
For the record, Gil Yannick, Carson Advisory Board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think these comments are somewhat, Mike covered some of these because and we don't know about what to do about some of these problems of conflict. But in Area 16, elk bull hunt, we'd like to see possibility of moving either any of the categories of either any legal weapon, muzzleloader, or archery to have one of those in the rut, during the rut, to give people a little better opportunity if possible. Also, the potential impact down in the Atlanta Farms, rifle, cow, elk overlapping with the archery mule deer hunt, and that nothing has ever happened so far, but we have a board member who's very concerned about the potential for something happening, and when we spoke with Mike Doble, who represented the department when we went over these, I don't know that there's an easy solution, but we just need to make people aware that when you're out there with a rifle, you could have somebody sneaking up close with a bow, and there's always that potential. We also talked about the overlap in areas 061 and 071 of the cow and the bull muzzle loader hunt, and felt that these hunts would present a crowding issue and potential conflict again between guided bull hunts and cow hunters at the same time. Sure. 061 and 071. Let's see if we noted that way.
Loader?
Yeah,
Antlered? Or, right?
No, this was the muzzleloader antler bull hunt.
4156?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. Come on up.
Kevin Strozzi from Nye County Advisory Board. For Hunt 4151, any legal weapon, antlered elk, the Nye County Board would like to see a hunt put in there for units 161 through 164 with season dates of September 16th through the 23rd. It's that same early season rifle hunt that we've traditionally always had in Nye County. We don't want to get rid of the split later season rifle hunts. We need that to eliminate some of the hunter congestion in there. There's not a lot of access in there, and the east side of the monitors gets pretty crowded with 50 bull tags in there right then, and you know that's 500 guys hunting. So, but we don't want to see that hunt go away. We want that opportunity, be it if it's just 3 or 4 tags, that opportunity for those lucky few people to be able to hunt those bulls when the weather's nice in that area. We'd also like to see that same season put in for the non-resident hunt 4251. We talked to Tom Donham, the area biologist. Biologically, it's not a problem. What it will do when the department makes their quota recommendations, it's going to let, if we put 4 tags in there, it's basically going to eliminate 8 tags from the later rifle hunts. It's going to eliminate a few of the later rifle hunt tags, which are about a 50% success rate, and that early season is 100%, but we can give that little bit of opportunity for a few lucky people, and we'd like to see it back in there.
Excellent, thank you. Come on down.
Dane Bradfield, Lincoln County Advisory Board. As is stated in our minutes that we sent in, and as Mr. Cox has talked about earlier, for the antlered elk hunts, they've added Unit 223 in with 231, 241, 242. We would also like to add Unit 223 in with the antlerless elk hunts to hopefully avoid congestion, or not congestion, but confusion. with anybody that does draw that tag, so that there isn't honest people making an honest mistake of harvesting a cow in that area when it's not opened with the antlerless hunts. In regards to the statements that were made about congestion and conflicting weapons around the Atlanta Farms hunt, if you look at the geographics of the Atlanta Farms hunt, it's within a 5-mile radius of the cultivated area of Atlanta Farms. This is in the bottom of the valley. At that time of year when the archery deer hunt is going on, there's very minimal deer down that low. As Mr. Yannick said, we don't know of any problems at that time. We don't see any problems happening at that time, and we would like to stay with that area. And then one more note, we would, for Lincoln County, we would not like to see any rifle rut hunts for the elk. Thank you.
All right, just one thing, on that edition of 223, it said to avoid confusion, can you, what was the basis? Can you run over that for us?
Well,
We
they've
support that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, but just, yeah, fill that out.
They've added Unit 223 in with Unit 231, 241, and 242 on the antlered elk hunts. We would like to add that also to the antlerless elk hunts.
Just so that if it's on one, it should be on the other, and that was the basis. Okay,
Yes,
just,
keep it clear for everybody.
excellent, thank you. Question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think did your board address this archery safety issue? The Carson board was talking about the archery elk overlap, not mule deer, and they're...
I'm sorry, I thought I heard Mr. Yannick say deer.
That's
Yeah,
what I
there
mean,
is-
archery elk and rifle
archery deer.
cow.
There's there's the rifle cow hunt, the depredation hunt, and there's the archery elk hunt and the archery deer hunt.
But the real conflict, like you said, is the archery elk and the rifle elk going on at Atlanta Farms at the same time. Archery elk cow.
Yes,
The mule deer, you're probably correct, there probably isn't much conflict there.
yes it is,
In the field.
correct.
But the conflict is those archery guys are gonna be sneaking up on those big bulls that the rifle hunters aren't gonna be in there if we adopt the current recommendations. So the conflict is
With cows.
rifle cows. Right? Did you guys address that?
Well,
Or
we,
were you thinking in terms of thinking in terms of the deer?
well, I was going off for Mr. Yannick's comments, and I thought he said deer. Is that correct?
It was the archery deer and rifle cow hunt.
Mm-hmm. And so,
Further public comment on elk? Go ahead, Mr. Bliss.
Chad Bliss, Eureka County. We were actually in favor of all of the proposed season dates by the Department of Wildlife, with the exception of the depredation hunt and the bonus point issue that was brought up at our meeting. I'd like to add, as far as the early rifle bull hunts, we're not against them, but I would like to see them moved around like they were, supposed to have been done. I do understand the issue of incentive tags, and there's only certain areas that we can probably provide that early rifle hunt, but maybe it's something that we could work on in the future to try to make that happen, and maybe rotate that hunt around a little more often than it has been. So, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Further public comment? Seeing no further public comment, close the public hearing on this matter, bring it back to the commission. Okay, Mr. Vice Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've heard more controversy from hunters on this lack of having early rifle bull hunts and increasing the 4156 muzzleloader hunt, moving 5 early seasons for them and removing all the rifle early hunts. And so if I get a chance to make a motion, I'm going to make a motion on that. And then I would like to make a motion also on all the Hunt 4181 on the Anterless and just start them all at the same time later.
All right, then just make that in form of motion, and then we can
Okay.
debate it.
Okay, I'll go through this. It's kind of complicated then, okay?
All right.
Let's start with
4106?
4106.
Yeah.
I can't hear him.
As individual hunts, you want to do you have a motion on 4106?
Well, I'll make a motion on individual, as the department recommended on 4106. Which is what?
Which is now 4102? You,
Yes, you would ask that that would be a 4102 antlered elk and an illegal weapon.
Depredation?
Yes.
Here it says 4106 as,
Right. Again, I apologized earlier. I think based on some comments we got from the game boards, that we will give up the few limited opportunities to kill an extra cow and just stick with what has been in the past, which is the 4102 hunt.
you want to do
Okay.
one at a time then?
all right, yes, that's
Okay, this
4106.
is 4102. And we have, just so I'm clear on that, it hasn't, 4106 just changed to 4102. It's still got the same,
It would be antlered only, and the number would change. So it wouldn't be antlered or antlerless, it would just be antlered, strike the antlerless,
okay.
and then 02 to, or 06 to 02.
The motion I'd make on that is as department recommended then.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve 4106 as the new 4102, or as 4102, I should say. Everybody understand that? Understand the motion? All in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, and then,
Okay, and my motion on Hunt 4151 would be to just go back to last year. I think we still need early rifle, and I think instead of trying to change and alternate them around now with all these different hunts, it would sure be a lot easier just to put one archery hunt, one muzzleloader, and one rifle hunt, and then hunt wherever you wanted. But since we're doing it this way, my motion would be to change 072, 074, and last year it was September 16th to the 23rd, to change that to September 16th to 23rd. And on Hunt 091,
is that early or late, is the question? Is that early or late, or are we just going to have just one hunt?
was going to add an early hunt September 16th to 23rd.
Okay, are we going off of last year's and changing last year's? Okay, we got these new recommendations. One says 072, 074 early, one
Right.
says 072, 074 late. Are we changing all of them or just one of them? We're adding a whole new one. We're leaving those and adding a new.
Adding a new one.
All right,
September 16th to 23rd, the same as it was last year. Then 091, that was moved forward from September 17th, last year September 11th. So I'm going to make a motion, we move 091 back to September the 11th.
both years, right?
And
Chairman?
then,
Yeah.
and one area, and the next one is 108, 131, and 132. Change the season of that to September the 16th to 23rd. I didn't look at the date on the 16th, what day that's on, but that's what it was last year. I've just returned them last year. September 16th to 23rd. And then, yeah, 108's a new hunt.
108E.
Yeah,
The E is the,
no, 108, 131, and 132. September 16th to the 23rd. That's the same as what it was last year. And then, these are the early hunts that were last year. I'm just reinstating the early hunts for rifle like they were last year. And then on 161 to 164, we have an early and a late. I want to add a hunt from September 16th, September 23rd, just like last year.
And is that to include 171 to 173 as well, or just 161 to 164? Or just include all of them?
Just include all of them.
Okay. So that September 16th to 23rd, add one, that's 161 to 164, 171 to 173.
And then leave the split hunt later, split hunt.
Okay?
Because we talk about access with a late season, we won't have it this way.
Yeah, just finish the motion and then we'll,
Just to clarify it, so I know what the.
okay, clarification?
On 091, you said September 11th. Was that
Sep-
till?
September 11th to October 7th.
Okay, thank you.
11th, October 7th, both years, got it. All right, Mike had
We have an agreement with the state of Utah. They have already set the season in their regulations, so we are, in our agreement, we're to adopt the season dates that they set. And there was a calendar shift, obviously, for them, so that's why they shifted, but that was their dates. So we would be in violation of our agreement, I guess, with the state of Utah. And just because they set theirs a year ahead of ours.
So we could set ours a year ahead next time.
Yeah, it is a Saturday, the September 17th. So they had a calendar shift, and that's really.
Have
only
they
the reason.
set 2012 yet?
I don't believe so.
So we couldn't do it according to agreement in 2000. I'm just trying to incorporate.
Yeah, there you go. I guess if
Okay.
we set it first, then they'll
Okay.
follow us, because we've been following them.
So you'd much prefer if you didn't violate the agreement on 2011. What do you want to do with 2012?
Has that agreement
in
ever
this
been
motion?
violated?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, honoring Utah, then I will not recommend 091 September 11th. I'll leave it as recommended, 17th of September till 7th of October. I'll take that out of my motion then, and we'll have,
2012, do you want to do anything, or leave it as recommended?
can we do it at 2012?
Yeah.
Then I recommend in 2012, we move it up to a week to September the 11th to October 7th.
Let's look at the calendar and find out what Saturday is.
What Saturday is in 2012?
Well, I would imagine it'd be the 15th if I had to guess. Of September. Otherwise, Mr. Cox wouldn't
What's
come up
the
with
date?
these dates.
adopt the same.
What's Saturday, what's the date on a Saturday, on 2012?
It's the 15th.
15th? 9th?
9th, 15th.
Well,
Your motion. I'm just trying to process it.
7th?
October 7th is Sunday.
Split down, halfway down though. Then you want to combine this motion for this one area in this motion, make 091 for the year 2012, September the, 15th to October, would it be the 5th then?
That's as proposed. If it was 15th through the 5th, then that's as proposed by the department.
Right.
Okay.
Utah did end on a Friday, so that starts on Saturday, ends on a Friday, so that, I was just
So
pointing that out. They don't end on a Sunday, they end on a Friday. If we want to accommodate them, again, maybe we just take the lead and so you follow us.
What day would you make that then?
If it's a Sunday, it's the 7th, Friday, it's October 5th on 2012.
Correct.
Friday's the 5th, and you make it Saturday let's go to October the 7th on a Sunday, because that's typical.
Sure.
September
October
15th through October 7th is your motion for 2012. Leave 2011 alone, and we're talking 091B.
Right,
Okay.
091.
Okay, and then we had that.
That's all of Hunt 4151.
Okay. That's
another Hunt.
That's another Hunt unit. We're done with the motion. Go ahead, Mr. Capurro, on the motion.
Have we got a second on it?
I thought that was a second. I was trying to figure that out. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we have a second by Mr. Commissioner Howell.
This issue of the early hunts is probably the one have had actually the most phone calls on, and all of us have had, I think, at least one or two emails relative to it about restoring those early hunts. So I'm in favor of that. When you're talking about areas 7, 13, and 16, and I believe that was your motion, Dr. Lent. And also with respect to Unit 13, I'm presuming that's under 131 and 132. Is that correct? No, 108.
108E, yeah,
All right.
portion thereof.
And that would be an early hunt suggestion also. Okay, that's on Hunt 4151. I just wanted to make sure the record's clear that there have been quite a few requests to go back to the early hunts on 4151.
Yep, we have had quite a few. Okay, go ahead.
And I'd like to also I'd like to swing these around, mix them around, and that was the intent years ago when all of a sudden we get no early rifle hunts. And I think if we gotta make it a policy, that every year, or every time we set these 2 years, we're gonna rotate them around, but we're gonna have at least 3 early rifle hunts somewhere, and it's kinda late to figure them out, so I went with what we did last year, but we ought to make that if we gotta make it a policy that there is a tremendous demand for early rifle hunts, and I've had more calls on that than anything, and we should direct the department to do it every year in some areas. Thank
We
you.
had to talk to the policy committee chairman on that item. Maybe we can have another meeting. Go ahead.
Actually, I'm going to support the motion, but I would like to put the department on notice of an issue that I'd like for them to consider for next year. I've had some discussions with the numerous of the CAB representatives here today, and the issue of the 1122 units being split along the lines of the 11 units in one group and the 22 units, possibly adding this new 223 unit to that group of the area 22 units. I did have some discussions with Mike Scott about this at our CAB meeting, but there is a lot of the CABs that would like to have this completely vetted and try to get the department to look at this seriously as to whether we should split these our biggest hunt area in half. That it may be time to do that. They've indicated that there's been discussions about this in the past, and that maybe the department hasn't been, for whatever reason, not wanting to do it. And so I just, obviously we can't do it now because it wasn't out there and there was no discussion on it. But I think it's something that the sportsmen want the department to seriously look at. And so if you could do that and come back to us with all of the issues, and see if we can't look at that next year.
All right, I'd like to check with our boss, Suzanne, if you could please let us know, is this clear? Do we need any clarification? Okay. as long as you have it,